Cheers to the grocery episode. How I source all the food in our home as someone who avoids the grocery store at all costs and won't touch a highly processed food with a 10-foot pole. I do ancestral homemade cooking from scratch with only ingredients from Earth. So it's just me on this episode again. Levi will be back next time. I just wanted to run through another more actionable list type conversation with you. Something that you can implement in your home and get immediate benefits from, like I have. So, if you're still feeling pulled to like convenient and more modern foods, I hope this makes it feel a bit easier and more doable to fill your home with only the best of the best. So, something about me is that I've always been really put off by grocery stores, and it wasn't until I stopped relying on them that I realized just how terrible they are, because for one, they always just felt really gross and dirty to me, and for two, my health has improved so much, my body image has improved so much, my feeling of ease and freedom around food has improved drastically by avoiding the grocery store. And I think that has everything to do with the fact that grocery stores are filled with dead food, and when you fill your body with food that has a lot of life force, it really serves you back. And I know I talk about this a lot, but it changes the game for sure. So I hope you'll get some ideas from this and start to take baby steps to not relying on the grocery store, just getting less and less things from there. And also it's just nice because the grocery store is not a fun time. So I'm going to show you how I barely use them now. So first I'll share my local pickups, and then I'll share what I get online. And then last, I'll share the few things that are left to get at the grocery store. So for our family, we don't avoid any type of food except for dead food. So I have sources for everything. So I have grain, meat, dairy, sugary type dessert food, pantry items, and fresh produce. So I'll be sharing how I source all of that. Just mostly single ingredient items, nothing packaged really, nothing that is already made for you, because I make everything from scratch, and I think that is the way, because you really can't trust a big company making it for you, because then it's going through a factory process, and no matter what the ingredient list says, your body isn't going to love an alien factory processed item the same way it will love real alive ingredients that you put together to make something. So let's get into it. First, I want to talk about things I get locally. So we'll start with meat, beef, and a whole chicken I get from my local farm. And this is something that you will have to do the first few bits, you'll have to do a little local search. And I'm telling you, it does take a bit of digging, because I've lived in this area, and only once I really started looking is when I'm realizing that I live in a major farming area. Not nasty, I grew up as a kid in what was known as a highly farmed area, but it was all monocropping. They only did corn, and they were spraying the fields with it's not a real farm. That's not a farming area. That's a factory process that's just going on outside. I live now in a place where there actually is a lot of regenerative farming going on, and I just didn't really see it until I started looking for it. So even the farm that I get meat and dairy from now, they have pickup locations, which is pretty cool. Like all the like few cities surrounding the farm, they like have family and friends that they will like drop off coolers where people can go to their house and just pick up their order. So that's what I do. I don't even live in the same city as this farm, but I go to someone's house and it's on their side yard. And whenever I order a whole chicken or ground beef or any type of steaks, I also get butter and raw milk from this same farm. Um, I just go to the pickup location that is in the closest area to me, and I just walk to their side yard. You do a little sign in sheet, get your stuff out of the cooler, and take it home. So it's really cool. Once a week, I do that, and it took me a while to find an amazing farm that does have practices that I can get behind. This farm, they do regenerative farming. They also sell like eggs, but I don't get that because I have chickens. So these local ones, I know there are some places where they're like, there's no farming around them, but it's honestly kind of rare. So even if you don't live near a regenerative farm, I bet you can find one that offers a pickup location that is close to you. So try to do a bit of research. It's it's honestly game changing to have chicken, beef, and dairy that you really trust, and it's amazing. So if you're someone who hasn't found that yet, what I did before I found this farm is I'd order beef and chicken from either Polyface Farms, so you can order online. White Oak Pastures, you could order that online and get it straight to your house. Or we'll get into it later, but my grocery store that I go to now for like my couple of things, and also a lot of grocery stores now, has the brand Force of Nature. They are a regenerative farm. I mostly get meat from my own farm, but this brand Force of Nature, they have um, ancestral blends of meats where they'll put organ meat in their blends. And so I'm still not ready to buy liver and heart from my farm by itself and put it together myself. I'm just not there yet. I'm working up the courage. So whenever I do, I want to get organ meat in, I'll just pick up from the grocery store, the brand Force of Nature. The ancestral blends have that. They also sell regular meat. And so I'm sure you can find that at least at a grocery store near you. So that's for like meat. And then same with dairy. Try to find, if you're going to have it, you don't want to go with like a big food, pasteurized factory operation. The cows in the factory farms are not doing well. So you don't really want to contribute to that. So if you're going to have dairy, really try to find a local regenerative farm. If you cannot, I would then go with the raw farm whole milk. And with the raw farm whole milk, you can make butter. They have a really good fat content in their milk, and they are doing great work. I totally trust that brand. They do testing, even though it's a pretty big operation for raw milk. They do testing. They have caught whenever their cows have gotten sick, which is very rare. They've caught it. Like they do a good job from what I've seen. So I would get from them, and a lot of grocery stores sell that. Obviously check your state, but from there, if you get whole milk from the brand Raw Farm, you can make your own butter. You can make your own mozzarella cheese really easily, and all the things. Like I made raviolis last night, made my own ricotta cheese, and then put that inside the ravioli. So any type of dairy product, I would go that route if you don't have a local farm that you found yet, but I know you'll be on the lookout for one because that really is important. Okay, and then the next is having like a local farm stand to go to for your own like vegetables and stuff. So at the grocery store, the produce is just, it's on its way out. It's like dying. It was picked probably when it was way too early for it to be picked. You really want to get local produce, and the farm stands I find are amazing. So at mine, you can see where they're growing it right there. It's not even like a farmer's market where people bring it. At a farmer's market, you're going to have to ask, like, where was this grown? What was it sprayed with pesticides? Because people do, like, once food is being for sale and they're not just feeding their own family, all of a sudden they're probably going to go ahead and use pesticides because it's their business. And if something's going down, they need to make money. So I am a little bit weary of farmers markets still, which is so sad, but it is farmers trying to make money, not feeding their family. Whereas like with this local farm stand, it is just like a bigger like family operation. And I've asked them, and you see it grown, and it is organic. They actually do have the certification. Not everyone will, but you really have to ask, like, would you ever, if it came down to losing your harvest that year, would you spray? And see what they say. So I know for a fact the one I found is amazing, and they've even had conversations with me while shopping. I remember towards the end of the season last year, they finally got like a bunch of potatoes, and I bought so many because we go through a lot of potatoes at my house. And they were like talking about how they were so grateful because those weren't their potatoes. And they told me, like, our friends down the street, they got a bunch of potatoes, theirs did really well, and told me all like who these people are that grew these potatoes. And they said the reason we don't have any of our own this year is because the ants like got to them this year. So the ants didn't want us to have our own potatoes this year. And I really appreciated that because it just goes to show, like, even when you're losing your whole harvest, they're not going to just get in there and spray because it's against their values, and it's just not an option. And I really appreciate that. So that's something to look for with farm stands. Obviously, growing as much as you can at home, that's what I'm trying to build up to. But as I'm doing that, it's really amazing to have a local farm stand that you can trust. Mine is really cool too. And the reason I'm saying, I'm not trying to brag, like, oh, I live in the best place that has the best farm stand. The reason I'm saying all this is because I lived here I've been coming here for 4 years. I've lived here exclusively for 2 years, and I only found this I found it in like July of last year. So about 1 year I've known about this, and there really are gems like this in many, many, many cities. So try to find the gems. It changes everything. This farm stand, they also, like, with their own peppers that they grow, they make hot sauce. With their own tomatoes, they make marinara sauce. So it's really cool because obviously I like to make everything myself, but with something like hot sauce and marinara sauce, I do go through it pretty often. So not every single time am I gonna make it from scratch because, like, I mean, hopefully one day I will and like prep it enough. But it's really nice because this is homemade from scratch from produce that I buy and trust anyways. And that's really key because even if you buy hot sauce that has like no chemical ingredients, you really don't know if the peppers were grown in a way that you're comfortable with. So that's cool. My farm also has olive oil, and I would encourage you to look for a well-sourced olive oil, don't leave that up for the grocery store. So that's kind of what I'm sharing here is like these are a lot of things that I wouldn't leave to getting at the grocery store if you don't have a local sourcing of olive oil because of where you live. I would opt to get that online from a great source. And I can share some olive oil sources, places you can order online in my newsletter if you join me there for this episode. Because we just went to Italy and got a bunch of olive oil from there, and I know you can order it online. So I'll share those. And even my local place, the olive oil I get locally, they ship all over the US. They might even do international because they have an operation in Spain as well. So I'll share that. Okay, next. Other things I get online that I've talked about before is coffee. I get the brand Danger coffee. I would always order coffee online. Don't leave it up to the grocery store because you want mold free, you want pesticide free. Yeah, I wouldn't leave that to the grocery store. And then same with like tea and herbs. I get those from Mountain Rose Herbs, so matcha, loose leaf tea, cocoa powder, cinnamon, all those types of things I get from Mountain Rose Herbs because I know their sourcing is amazing. So next, this is a big one. If you're going to eat bread, pasta, any type of grains, I would say I wouldn't eat carbs like that if you're not going to make it yourself with ancient grains. So I get my grains from ancientgrains.com, and I get the einkorn berries. They have a lot of other like ancient grains that you could try out, but that's really the best way to go. If you want to have bread and pasta and pastries or anything like that as a part of your regular eating daily food intake, I would definitely really try to get into making your own with a great source. So ancientgrains.com, the brand is called like Grand Teton Ancient Grains, but the website is just ancientgrains.com. So that's where you get like the whole wheat berries, and then you mill that yourself to make your own flour, then use that to make bread or whatever. So if you are really just like, I can't with milling my own flour, what I would do and what I also do is for already milled flour, I get from a brand that's called Farm to Flour. So farm, the number 2, and then flour as in like the flour that you're buying, FLOUR, Farm to Flour. This one is great because they put the date. So like I said, I don't eat dead food. Flour is one of the main things where it's like that spoils. And at the grocery store, they leave it out on the shelves. They pretend it doesn't spoil, but it really does. It loses all of its nutritional value, and it is completely dead, and it only hurts your body. So this brand, Farm to Flour, they don't use any chemicals, so their wheat is not sprayed ever. It's stone milled, ground like to order. So they don't mill it until it's like really close to your order, and they'll put the date on when they milled it. And so you'll want to use it like within that month or something. Because if you're using old flour, like I remember, I think everybody had this growing up. You have like those plastic tubs of flour and sugar, and they're like years and years and years old, just sitting in your like baking cabinet. That is not good. It's dead. It's completely dead, and it is not good for you. And unfortunately, like at the grocery store, all the flour you'll buy is it very well could have been there for a year or more. So that's the route. That's what I would order online. So far we've gone through meat, dairy, coffee and tea and herbs, and flour. Um, the next thing I'm going to go through is my pantry haul. So all of my pantry products I order online for the most part. And I do this because I order from Thrive Market, and this helps me to not have a million different orders from a million different websites, because you can't always find the best brands for your like pantry items at the grocery store. Sometimes they're just like not the best. So from Thrive Market, I order I'll just go through like some of my past orders so you can get the vibe for what I get. I get coconut water, the Thrive Market brand. I get jasmine rice. So I get from the brand Lundberg. It's a regenerative farmed jasmine rice, and they do sell that at a lot of grocery stores. So opt for that for rice. The Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. I get the Native Forest brand coconut milk. I get coconut oil from the Dr. Bronner regenerative coconut oil brand. I get dry beans like black beans, pinto beans. I get them dry because then I just like make them myself instead of buying them canned. I get chocolate bars from the brand Alter Echo, and I use this chocolate bar to make like chocolate ice cream, to make hot chocolate, stuff like that. I get baking soda, ghee. I get maple syrup, grass-fed gelatin, Celtic sea salt, pepper, cane sugar, regeneratively farmed cane sugar. I get nuts and seeds like pistachios or hemp seeds, coconut aminos or soy sauce from like really good brands. And then I also get like home type stuff like I talked about the soap, and then I also get like trash bags that have no fragrance. I get lip balm from Dr. Bronner's. I get the wellness brand toothpaste on Thrive Market. I get, what else? Sometimes I get like seasonings too, like garlic powder, cinnamon. Yeah. If I'm if the farm is not open, I'm looking at an order from February. So the farm stand I talked about that's local, they're closed from January through April. So that's always like a tough time, winter, because we don't have fresh produce. But I see during that time I bought Carbone marinara, the brand Carbone. I like their ingredient list. Obviously best to make your own, but winter, if you didn't prepare with canning and all of that, I've not gotten there yet. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the things I order online for my like pantry stuff. Oh, I forgot. Also, I get like my shampoo and conditioner, the Babo brand that I talked about in a past episode, and like the dish brush. So it's nice. I like Thrive Market because I can't stand the grocery store, so it's nice to get as much as I can sent to my house. And then also because those type of products that I just mentioned, that is not a lot of my diet, but it's important to have brands that I trust, their quality. So for the main things like coconut milk, coconut water, coconut oil, maple syrup, sugar, any type of nuts and seeds, like that type of thing, you want to make sure you're buying from somewhere that it's a quality brand. They're not putting chemicals in. They're just great. It's good sourcing. So I find that to be super helpful. Of course, a lot of that you could probably get at a grocery store. I just prefer to limit my time and energy in a grocery store as much as possible. So, yeah, after all of that, what's left for the grocery store? So, I'm pretty happy that after a long time, this past winter, I found that near where I pick up my milk each Friday, the like farm pickup location, right around the corner from that, there's this food co-op, and I've never joined a food co-op, but I looked into this one and I decided to join it. It only costs $10 every 6 months. And then after you pay 5 times, it's like paid off, so you don't have to pay ever again. And I like it so much. I'd never even really understood what a food co-op is, but I find that they take a lot of extra attention to source local products, which is really amazing. So I often buy like plants because there's like there's local flower farms and local like farm stands, and they sell like their sprouted seeds. They sell those plants, and so a lot of what is in my garden I get there. And then they also have local flower farms, and so they have flower bouquets that are from local flower farms, so they're really cute. And then they have a lot of local produce and also like packaged food products that are from local farms or local businesses. So I don't buy really packaged products, but it's just nice that they do more like small stuff. They're not as big business. So, for example, things I get at the grocery store and how cool it is with my grocery store is I get like frozen blueberries, and it's from a local blueberry farm, and it's so cute because it's just in like a regular Ziploc bag with a tiny little sticker that it's like from that farm. So it's very small family. It feels better than getting frozen blueberries from who knows where, maybe another country with these like bigger brands. But sometimes you do that too. So if I ever get like frozen mango or something for smoothies, then I just buy organic frozen because we don't really have that type, or like pineapple, we don't have that locally. I get whatever produce I can't get at the farm. So like avocados, we don't really have that at my farm stand, so I'll buy that at the grocery store. Sometimes I'll buy the meat from Force of Nature. I always buy raw honey, and mine has a local honey from the exact little, like the exact town that the grocery store is in. And I get this cold pack honey. So it's like a new thing for me that I can't have honey now unless it's the cold pack. So the cold pack, it's like a solid. Think of like coconut oil when it's cold, how it's a solid. The honey that I get is like that, and I like it more because it's never been heated higher than the temperature of the hive. So a lot of honey has been basically pasteurized in the same way as with milk that kills all the benefits. So I like this cold pack honey. It's not been heated, and it has like propolis and bee pollen in it. It's not filtered out. And I just think it tastes so much better, and it's so amazing. So I'm obsessed with that. Then I'll also get at the grocery store, I'll get cheese, like cheddar. So the cheddar I get is from the brand Origin Creamery. It's an A2 raw cheddar. And then I'll get Parmigiana Authentic from Italy at the grocery store. I never buy fake Parmesan. It's just not right. So most grocery stores sell. Like you'll have to look for the wax, like authenticity wax on the Parmesan. That's how you know it's from Italy. It'll be like stamped on the wax. And then I also buy yogurt a lot. I do make my own yogurt sometimes, but I've not been great with being consistent with it, and we go through so much of it because we're always making that like sriracha yogurt sauce, and we just use it with a lot of things. So I get the brand Maple Hill, and it's a regeneratively farmed, grass-fed yogurt. So, and it's yogurt, so it just means the cows were grass-fed and they live on a regenerative farm and they make yogurt from those cows. So I like that, and I'm looking at my list. That's really all. I hope that wasn't too scrambled. So basically, what I do is for my online things, I order. So for coffee, I have a subscription. I think I get 2 bags of coffee every 6 weeks. And I don't even have to think about it. It's on subscription. For the flour, I just order it in like a big bulk of the grain. And so I don't have to buy it very often. Every couple months I have to get more. Same with like the tea and matcha and all that. I just order it here and there whenever I'm running low. And then Thrive Market, I really only order from there once every 2 or 3 months, so not super often. And then so for the rest of it, every Friday I make my little trip, my grocery haul trip, and I go to the farm stand first. Then I go to the grocery store. Then I go around the corner, pick up my milk, and if I'm getting meat that week, grab that at the same time, and then I go home. So it's once a week, 3 pit stops. It takes an hour and a half because it's like a 30-minute drive from my house because we don't live near many places. And also I'm willing to go, I would go further than 30 minutes if I had to get a local farm stand and like a local farm pickup for milk and meat and all of that. So that is it. That is my routine. That is the only food we have in our house, and I think that is really key because if you are struggling with like cravings or still feeling addicted to the highly processed foods, the main thing is really just don't have it at your home. If you don't buy it, if you don't have it in your home, you're not going to eat it. And as adults, we are in control of this, and it's really amazing. You're not forced to buy anything that doesn't serve you. So that is that. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's anything that you're like, hey, I always buy this and you didn't mention it. Where would I get that? So let me know. Oh, the thing I just thought of. As far as like other protein sources, I have not found a great source for fish, and I'm honestly like questioning right now at a time in my life. I'm just like really questioning the seafood thing. Because even when I get wild caught Alaskan salmon, there's still something that is a little bit off to me. I'm not sure if the heavy metals, I'm not sure if the benefits outweigh the heavy metals in a lot of fish, especially like bottom feeders. So what I'm hearing, what's making sense to me is like oysters and mussels are great for you, but I've never even eaten those before. So I believe I could get mussels at my food co-op, but I never have. Like I'm just not eating much seafood right now because I don't trust it. That's really where I'm at on that. I can update you if I ever change on that. And then as far as like other protein sources, I really don't eat pork because it is extremely rare to find like regeneratively farmed pork that doesn't eat like trash. And so I don't really feel great about that. So I don't really do pork. Whenever Levi's friends Like, he has a friend at work that will give us, that goes hunting, and then they will just give us like venison or elk that they hunted, like, so they were wild venison, wild elk. That we definitely get, but I don't buy it. We just get it from friends. So that's always nice. But that's kind of all I can think of. So if you can think of anything that I didn't mention, where to source it, or if you have questions like, I always buy this brand and I don't really know how to do better, let me know. Maybe it's something I can share, a recipe that you can start making from scratch, or maybe it's just I know of a better brand than whatever one you're used to buying. So let me know, especially if you're signed up to my newsletter. That's probably the best way. Just reply to those emails and I can email you back. But yeah, that's it for the grocery haul. Thanks for listening. Cheers to grocery shopping from nature, getting out of our little brainwashing routine of buying dead food at the grocery store. Cheers.